It's Tuesday, April 15th, 2025, and we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got a very active pattern setting up across the country. I mean, we're talking about everything from a multi-day severe weather outbreak again, and of course, we've got a major pattern shift to continue to talk about that's going to dictate how the weather story is going to go over the next month or so. But let's start off by jumping right into Thursday, April 17th, where the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted a slight risk that's a 2 out of 5 for severe thunderstorms here in places like Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Davenport, pretty much Iowa is included in this slight risk. And of course, there's a marginal risk, 1 out of 5 around that includes places like Kansas City, Sioux Falls, and even parts of Illinois. This is going to be the start of our multi-day severe weather outbreak. We've got another action-packed week of severe weather ahead of us. I don't know if it'll be quite as interesting or crazy as the last one, but it's starting to look like things are going to get pretty active as we go forward. So what's causing all this chaos? Well, it's got to do with that western trough that we've been talking about. You can see it sneaking up into the southwestern U.S. behind my face here. Once again, it's mostly going to be, impacting people farther to the east, so I'm not going to move my face this time. But this is that big jet streak that caused the severe weather last night, moving out to sea. This is just going to leave us with some lingering cold air for a couple of days over here on the East Coast, but all eyes are going to transfer over to this big trough building in the west that is going to allow for an ample amount of Gulf moisture to kind of slide up into it and lead to severe weather. And just notice how it doesn't really move that much. Like, we've got a very kind of a stationary area here where we're going to have multiple little short waves. We're going to have multiple disturbances setting up several different areas of storms, training over the same areas over and over again. Does this sound familiar to you? Yes, this looks like somewhat of a repeat of our last multi-day severe weather system, but of course this one will have its own unique flair to it. You see, by Thursday, we do expect that a surface low is going to deepen over western Kansas, and that's going to stretch a boundary northeastward, okay? And that's why we've got that slight risk of severe weather on Thursday in the evening here, specifically between probably 8 p.m. and midnight. We're going to see an area of storms race over Iowa here as that low pressure center deepens and moves off to the east. And there's going to be just enough of a cap in the atmosphere to limit convection enough to where we might have isolated convection, meaning that we could have supercells that are capable of producing tornadoes. It's a little bit too early to talk about specific threats right now, but tornadoes are certainly on the table. And then especially as we go forward into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, look at this nearly stationary gravy train of severe weather and heavy rain that's setting up from about the Great Lakes region, maybe southern Ontario, down through the Ohio Valley, down through some of these hard-hit areas of recent severe weather outbreaks, and then back into Texas. This is going to lead to several bouts of severe weather and, of course, another heavy rain threat, as it doesn't look like this really gets out of our hair until maybe all the way back there on April 22nd as this final storm system ejects off to the north and east. This might actually bring its own severe weather implications to the East Coast, but I think we've got to take this one day at a time and focus on what we know for certain right now, which is an increased period of severe weather over here. And the Storm Prediction Center is on board, man. Look at this. We've got a 15% risk on Friday, April 18th. This is our day 4 outlook. This is from Michigan all the way down through Indiana, Illinois. Once again, St. Louis, you're included, and then all the way back into Tulsa, Oklahoma City, up towards Wichita Falls and the Red River Valley. So as that upper trough moves eastward, it's going to maintain strong southwesterly flow over that front, and that's just going to lead to this area getting pounded by severe weather, and potentially flooding problems as well. Check it out. Day 5, things don't change that much. The orientation of our French fry risk just kind of flips to the side a little bit. Now Kentucky's in play, northwestern Tennessee, Little Rock, maybe the Dallas-Fort Worth region back into the hill country. And around this time, we're actually going to have a shortwave trough ejecting out of the southwest, interacting with the stalled front, which actually might lead to an increased severe weather threat down here in Texas on Saturday. That might be our target area per se on Saturday, but both Friday and Saturday look like days that we could be live here on this channel. They're looking like potential significant severe weather situations. The only thing that I can't tell you right now are the very specific details, right? Like, we don't know if we're going to have more of a tornado problem here or more of a hail problem or more of a straight line damaging wind problem. All we know is that all of the signals point to increased activity here, and that's what we're giving you an early heads up on right now. We're giving you a major early heads up all the way out on the day 6 outlook, Sunday, April 20th. We've got a slight risk of severe weather for Arkansas, Arkansas, and really just an area that probably doesn't want to see any more severe weather. I really think that as we go deeper into May, things are going to move a little bit farther west as far as where our target areas are. But man, once again, this area is getting hit again by severe weather on the 20th. This is a 15% risk. This includes Dallas, Memphis, and Fort Worth again. So as you can tell, this is going to be a very active period from Thursday through Sunday, especially across the central and southern U.S. And we're going to be refining these details daily. So please make sure you are subscribed to this channel with notifications on. We're going to have a lot more high resolution data, especially for Thursday and Friday tomorrow. So that video is going to be very helpful for you if you live in the highlighted areas. Now, that same potent storm system that's responsible for all this severe weather is going to be responsible for another flooding situation that's going to be coming together here across the south central U.S. over the next week or so. Now, I don't think this will be as bad as the last one. It's not looking like we're going to have such an incredible amount of rain, but we are going to have a lot of rain, and a lot of it's going to fall in a short period of time. And some of this heavy rain overlaps with areas that experienced heavy rain in the last system. And some of these places are still under flood warnings right now because rivers and tributaries are still swollen. So this is something that we have to pay very close attention to. Looks like right now, right here around northeast Oklahoma back into southwest Missouri, over the next 7 days, there could be some places that get 4 or 5 inches of rain. And that's certainly going to be locally higher than that as we work out the fine details. So maybe all the way up there towards St. Louis, we could have some places getting 2 to 3 inches of rain. Back towards Dallas, same thing. So this is going to be the target area for flooding over the next week. As early as on the day 4 excessive rainfall outlook, we've got a marginal risk here where we think some of that heavy rain is going to be setting up, and then a very large slight risk on the day 5 excessive rainfall outlook showing up here in portions of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and southwest Missouri, southeast Kansas. This is likely going to be upgraded to a moderate risk at some point, meaning that we could have a pretty significant flooding event on our hands, maybe right there in the Tulsa region. And of course, before all the severe weather starts, our little cold blast that we are going through over here in the east is going to bring about a little bit more snow up here in the UP of Michigan, maybe 4 more inches for some of the places right off of the lakes. There's a couple places in New York and western New York that might end up with a good 6 to 12 inches of snow during this last bout of moisture that's going to be coming through. There's a couple pockets here off of the lakes that will exceed 6 inches of snow, maybe even 9 inches of snow up there in upstate New York as a result of this hopefully final blast of significant cold air that's going to be coming through. But there might be a couple more sneaky hits of cold air in May. But yeah, once again, the snow is something that we are going to be talking about a lot less as we go forward. Because look at this, son. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook shows much above average temperatures across most places east of the Rocky Mountains. Definitely going to be much above average in the southeast, and some of those warm temperatures are going to be working their way all the way up into Maine. Southern Ontario, you guys are going to be thawing out a little bit as well as some of this warm air works up towards you. But once again, there's a price to pay for that warm air in spring, especially whenever it's contrasted by cold air in the west. We are going to have lots of storms as a result of this temperature difference across the country. So these next rounds of storms mean business, okay? We've had similar setups in March, early April, but now that we're getting towards late April and early May, this is prime time for severe weather. We're going to have more moisture. We're going to have higher dew points. We're going to have more CAPE. It's more likely that CAPE will be out the wazoo during this time of year. So we've got to make sure we're hyper vigilant and we are paying very close attention to all of these severe weather outlooks that come out. Even though we might be fatigued, we might not care anymore. We might just want to ignore all of the forecasts and stuff. But I promise y'all, some of these storm systems coming up are going to be intense because of the amount of unstable air that we are going to have. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll have another update for you tomorrow. I think the next time we'll be live is probably Friday. I don't think we'll go live on Thursday, but we could be live Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So make sure you're subscribed with the notifications on. And also, another good place to keep up with me is over there on Facebook. Go search up Ryan Hall, y'all, on Facebook. I've got it set up now to where everything that I'm posting to Twitter also automatically goes over to Facebook. So lots of rapid fire updates over there if you want to stay tuned and updated and all that stuff. All right, that's all. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.